welcome. You're just in time. So today's lesson, it's gonna be an awesome one. So let's just jump right into it. I hope you're in for a challenge. Now, anybody can just jump right in and do this. All you're gonna need today are gonna be crayons and a piece of paper. So check it out. We're gonna be doing, boom, a T-Rex. Now, this looks like something that would be very complicated to draw. But what we're gonna do is use a little bit of our X-ray vision and a little bit of patience. And I promise you, you're gonna be so proud of this when you're done. And I can't wait to see those pictures. So let's go over the colors. Now, some of these, it's okay if you kind of choose your own. So say you want the dinosaur to be blue instead of green. Go ahead and just put blue instead. So some of these colors, they can change, right? So I have a yellow, orange, a pink, a brown, a green, a gray, and a black. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just jump right into the lesson. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our green crayon. Now, you may not think that you can sketch with this. Now, by sketch, I mean searching for something, meaning that you don't have to get everything perfect on the first go. So when we do these first marks, don't worry about perfect, because the thing is I promise you with the techniques we use, as we move through the lesson, you won't even see your sketch anymore. So that being said, draw lightly until you feel confident about your lines and then outline them harder. I'll go a little bit harder just so that you can make sure that you're seeing everything I'm doing. Okie doke. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find like his skull where his brain would be, that little dino brain. And I'm gonna indicate that with a circle. This circle I'm gonna place right about the center of the page. You can warm up by doing a couple rounds and then just let it go. Now, like I said, doesn't need to be perfect, right? So there's our circle, right about the center of the page, a little bit higher up so we have enough room for the full T-Rex head. Okay, what we'll do now is we'll place a couple dots that are gonna help me to position the jaw and then the eye. So let's go ahead and take your time with these, press pause if you need, and let's go ahead and go for it. So let's find the halfway point of the circle. Let's go up a third of the way into the circle, and let's place a dot. Now let's go over to the left, boop, and then go down a little bit and place a dot. Perfect, 2 dots, no problem. Okay, next dot. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come up from this dot along the circle till you get to the same height as the other dot, but go up a little more and do another dot. Now this dot, move out a little, give yourself one more, so we have a little bit of distance from the circle. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is place a dot right in between here and here. This dot's gonna go right about here, but up a little. Boom. Doesn't need to be too perfect where it is. We could adjust it as we go. So right now, none of this makes sense, but in a second, it all will. All right, let's go ahead now and start to kind of get some of these shapes in so we can start to see. I'm gonna start with the top of the jaw, and I'm gonna connect this to here and that to there. I'll go ahead and refine my lines as I refine the drawing. Okay, perfect. So now, what we need to do is, this is the corner, bottom corner of the top jaw. We want to determine how wide his snout is. We're gonna go ahead and put his snout out at an angle right here. So I'm gonna say about that wide. Now, if yours is a little wider, a little thinner, you know, dinosaurs come in all shapes and sizes, so you just be the king of that decision, or queen. So here we go. Now that we have that there, we can start to develop the front of his nose. Check out how I'm gonna do this. From here, I'm gonna come up at an angle that's almost about the same angle as the circle, and I'm gonna come about that much. All right? Now on the other side, this dot right here, I'm gonna come up with something that is symmetrical to that. So about the same, but just going in towards it. Now we're starting to see part of the front of his snout, which will be clear in a moment. Let's connect the snout to the top of the head with a nice line. Perfect. Now this other one, let's go ahead and just follow this line going parallel all the way to the back of your circle. Perfect, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and get the bottom of his jaw. So we have indicated a nice open mouth. To find out a nice dot where I know the mouth will be the right shape, I'm gonna find this intersection again. I'm gonna come down straight about the length of the circle. So you can say this, maybe a little bit shy, you know, if you don't want his mouth open that wide. This is basically how wide his mouth will be open. So now we'll go ahead and we'll basically come down here with a line. Perfect. What we'll do is now we want to indicate this same width but down on the bottom of the jaw. So follow that same angle. You can go a little thinner. Usually it's a little thinner, it kind of fits into the top jaw if we want to get technical. Now I'll go ahead and go back. Now as you come in, you can go ahead and give a little kind of curve here. Perfect, perfect. Let's do the bottom of the jaw. So what we'll do is we'll take a line down like this, and we'll do a parallel line right here, and we'll close off the bottom. See how it's like this skewed rectangle? Now don't worry if it's not perfect. You know I'm gonna keep saying that, and it's always gonna be true. So now, bottom of the jaw. Basically, we're gonna follow along the trajectory of the top of the jaw right here, but we're gonna kind of come into the bottom. So we'll start and we'll curve in. Perfect. Now let's go for some more refined shapes. What I'm gonna do now is kind of put the back of his jaw right here. So I'm gonna just lightly, right about where this is in height, go across and just lightly kind of go like that. Now I can detail this a bit more, kind of give him a little bit more bone structure by starting with a little C shape, and then I'm going to give him a little kind of jut out for another interesting bone. Now get creative. No one knows really what a T-Rex looks like, right? But see how that adds a lot more dynamic depth than just that curved line? So give him a little bumpiness, right? Okay, let's put in his eye. Let's start by just putting a dot right in the center where we think the eye should be. I'm going to position it right in the center line of the circle, going up and about a third of the way down from the top of the circle. So right about there, little tiny eye. Let's go ahead now and do a circle around it. This will sort of be the area around his eye socket, and then let's do a smaller one to indicate his actual eye itself. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is a fancy little shape that's kind of like his eyebrow arches. This will keep the sun out of the little Rex's eyes. So what I'm going to do is right about halfway from this corner to right here, I'm going to start to develop this sort of sculpted eyebrow shape, which I'm going to do first by making kind of a sideways candy cane. So starting from right about here, come around, swooping down. Now I'm gonna curve under, do a couple little bumps, come up and out. So see how this, I came out of the line, up, out of the whole skull, and back in. There we go. For the other side, I'll just do a little bump, and I'll come back in. Perfect, perfect. All we have left is little things to sort out, and then we can get into really detailing this Rex out. So let's put in where his sort of jaw meets his skull. There's this little flap of skin right here that sort of acts right in the hinge, and so it's kind of like this right here. Perfect, perfect. Okay, let's put in the back of his head. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out just a little bit, kind of do that. All right, now let's give a neck. So the neck, I'm gonna come out over here, right about where the jaw is, just a little bit. Boom. They got stubby little necks. We'll indicate his back, so he's right there, just cruising, walking through the forest, looking for something to eat. Maybe today he's gonna be a vegetarian. Just never know. Everybody's changing up their things around here, right? So now let's do the front, the chest. Boom. There we go. And one more line right here. This will be a sort of difference from his belly to the side of his body. Sort of mirroring that. Okay, for last details, we'll do nostrils and teeth. and a little bit of wrinkles. Right here, I want to put some wrinkles on his neck. So what I'm going to do is kind of these curved lines, just like that. Perfect. Perfect, just like that. If you want to add more or less, go for it. Let's go ahead and put in the nostrils. They're just like little teardrops right at the top edges of our snout. So good. Teeth. So for teeth, don't have to be perfect. Just think sharp, jaggedy, and you give a lot of character when you put in teeth. You can make them scary, you can make them crooked, you can make them all dentist perfect. Notice right now, it's like an old T-Rex, doesn't even have teeth. So let's go ahead and take him to the dentist. Here we go. Sharp tooth, sharp tooth. You know, and my trick is I'll try to make them look different from each other, and I'll also try to place one in front of the other as I go on the side. So in the front, you know, I'll try to make them not all the same, not all perfectly even, right? The bottom, here we go. We're going to go up, another one, and then see how I start kind of doing them behind the last one a little bit? Let's cut across. I'm just following this line, bringing teeth up. Sometimes I'll curve them a little bit, makes them a little bit more ferocious, right? Really grip into that nice apple they're gonna eat. And then we'll do some teeth going back. Awesome. Lastly, let's put in the indication of the tongue. Here we go. All right. So now we actually have the full drawing of the dinosaur. If you just wanted to go ahead and outline it from here and call it wraps, hey, you did a great job today, and I will see you tomorrow. But if you're sticking around and you're gonna finish this out with nice detail, then I'm so proud of you, and let's not waste any time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in a couple more lines just to indicate where shadows will go. Remember, we've done shading before. We wanna make this T-Rex feel like you could just reach and grab it. So here we go. Just follow line by line. I'm gonna go from this corner of the snout down to the bottom of the eye, just like that. Next, I'm gonna go from this top of the snout, jaw rather, right here, and to there. Boom. Awesome. Over here, I'm just gonna kind of mimic a little bit of the edge of the jaw, a little bit away from it. And I'll come down and around. Perfect, perfect. Okay, the last place that I'll go ahead and put this right now is right there where the snout is. Awesome. You could do a little bit of angle under these little rolls if you want. See how they kind of look like spikes now? Okay, we're ready to go. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna color before we outline. Now, if you wanna just outline it and you don't wanna color, don't worry, you can just go straight to that. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of make sure my crayon's nice and not too sharp so that I can go ahead and fill in a nice amount of space. I'm kind of going to use the side and go back and forth. Now, I'm going just regular pressure. You don't have to go over the top hard. What I'll do is I'll go harder once I color in the entire T-Rex. That way I can do those shaded areas that I was talking to you about. So here we go. And look how fast we color that in. Now, you can go ahead and color the sort of eyebrow arch green if you want, but I'm gonna color mine orange. So remember, any of this could be whatever color you want, because no one really knows what color a real T-Rex is, right? We only know its bones. We just about know that it existed, and past that, don't know anything else. They might have drank tea often, played guitar. They might have wrote amazing books that only dinosaurs could see. Who knows? Who knows? It's an amazing world out there. I'm sure you're realizing that by now. Okay, a little bit here. Perfect, perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna color in harder in those areas where I'm gonna have shadow. So right here I have the angle. So I'm gonna go real nice and firm with the crayon coming in, and then I'll kind of close that shape out a little bit. The angle you use doesn't matter too much, just try to be kind of consistent. If you want, as a pro tip, you can always sort of go in different directions to indicate the shape. You know, like right now I'm going up and down where the snout is. So there's a little bit of shadow right there. All right, let's come over in here, and this whole back of the head's gonna basically be in shadow, starting from right about here, going up top, a little bit around there. Let's go ahead and roll that shadow in all down here. Doesn't need to be perfect too, because we're gonna put in a nice outline where we can really clean it up and accentuate anything else that we wanna sort of make a little more defined. So don't worry if you're losing lines in the process. Remember, the part about doing a serious drawing like this is you want to lose some of it as you go. Now I'm doing under the rolls. You want to have that trust that you remember where all your original composition is, and you're going to get through it no problem. So a couple last spots that we'll do with the, darker shadowing will be right beneath this little bit of that eyebrow piece, up above the eyebrow, just a little shading there. And then maybe right here where the mouth meets, we'll do a little bit of shading in that area. Perfect, perfect. So let's go ahead and let's put that green crayon back. Awesome. So I'm gonna grab my orange and just go ahead and color the eyebrow area of the dinosaur, which I was saving. Give that a nice shade. And I'm doing just medium pressure again. Now if we want to be a stickler for the shadow, I can sort of mirror this whole line right here that's above the eye and just go up a little, kind of like that. And then I'll go harder. The idea is that, we want the eye to feel like it's tucked under this bit of shadow. There's two shapes back here. Give a nice shadow on that other one. Perfect. You can do a little bit under here, and then let's go ahead and color in the area where it surrounds our little eye. The eye I'm gonna color in yellow and black, so I'm gonna wait a second for that. There we go, there we go. Let's go ahead and put that orange crayon back. Let's grab that yellow. So the yellow, I'll go ahead and really press into that eye there. Ooh, looking real menacing now. You're all doing such a great job for sticking in. You're really taking it to the next level. I've been so excited to teach this class. I was developing it the other day and I was looking at it and I was thinking, this looks pretty hard, but that's what I think every time I'm about to get into something. There's nothing I do that I don't start with the thought like, I don't think I could do this. That's a very normal human thought, and if you're waiting for that to go away, it doesn't ever. So I'm glad I'm here to help you get through that initial sort of thought in our head that says, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. Grab me pink. We're gonna do the inside of the mouth. Remember, I'm just doing that nice, consistent coloring, trying to avoid the teeth because we want those to be nice and bright white. Now what I'll do is I'll color harder where the tongue will not be. So really making this a nice saturated sort of pink there. Now I can do a little bit in this little piece of skin. Sometimes there's these little bit of wrinkles there. You can indicate those. Awesome. I can do a little shading just under the tongue, maybe right there where it kind of meets up against the teeth. Other than that, we're about done in that section. So let's go ahead and put that pink crayon back. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and just put in our final outlines. So I'm going to grab my brown crayon first, because I'm going to outline my orange area with the brown crayon. Now the idea is here to give it personality. This is your final touch. This is where you really make the dinosaur feel like it's living. So be a little bit more bumpy. Don't be as simplified with your shapes. So here we go. Get creative. Notice how I'm going to get a little bit just experimental, a little bit more bumpy, and overall organic. See how nice this outline is? And it makes it so that no one will ever know we spent time doing a little undersketch. I'll outline right here. Perfect, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and put that crayon back. I'm gonna go ahead next and grab my black. So with this, we're gonna go ahead and start outlining the rest of this old Rex. I can start with just around the eye, and then put a little pupil in the center. Perfect, perfect. Man, we are so close, and I am so happy you're sticking through, because this is really a fun lesson and so rewarding. Remember, these are supposed to be frame bound, not fridge bound. Check out how I did a little bump for the nostril, and we could even draw in that little nostril we'd indicated earlier. Don't worry if you lost it along the way, because we just found it. Let's do the bottom. Coming along. Give it a little extra bumps if you need. Remember, this is a T-Rex. Tough life. Tougher than staying at home all day. They didn't have a home. Right? Tough life. So now, let's go ahead and outline the bottom of the jaw. Coming along, tucking in. Perfect. Let's get this little skin flap. Basically right now we're just going through and we're accentuating everything else that needs an outline. I'll go ahead and start doing my teeth. There we go. There we go. One by one, one by one. All right, well, I am so glad to almost be to the end of this lesson, and I'm really thrilled with all the feedback I'm getting. You know, we've been doing this for about 2 weeks now. That's yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we've been inside, since we've been sort of all trying to take on new challenges. So, you know, I'm really excited that we're still doing this and that it's only growing. I'm seeing more people watching these videos every day, and so ideally that continues to grow, and I'm definitely not going anywhere. Let's do the back of this head. If you haven't caught up with the other videos, we'll have a little link going up there in a moment that'll direct you towards your next lesson. So, you know, please don't stop here. I know sometimes once we get going, we want to kind of keep perfecting the piece we're working on, but most times it's better to just change pace and go to a whole new piece of work. And so with that, let's go ahead and say that's enough detail for our T-Rex. That's a great job today. So, you know, until next time, doodle on.